There we go. Let's stop this. Perfect.
All right, we live, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's up, Joey?
Nothing much, Coach Crow. How you doing tonight?
I'm well. That was weird with no music. We got to get the music fixed.
I gotta make a new graph. I gotta make a new one for next week. The music always sounded like the old. Like, I think it's something new. You got to refresh it for a new season.
Yeah. I got something for you. I got something in the pipeline. We'll make sure we have it next week. Man, it's been a few weeks since we did the show, man.
It has, man. It's been a while since we did the show.
Well, I mean, we've been busy. We've been busy, and we've been on the ground floor doing some stuff. So we're back at it. We'll do what we got 3 or 4 shows in a row, something like that. We're going to be doing
hard the next few weeks. We'll be grinding the next few weeks because there is a lot going on in the semi-pro world right now. Like, you got to think about it. There's no such thing as an off season in this sport.
Really. Mm-hmm.
It just keeps going year round.
Yes.
Whether you're playing, whether you're practicing, whether you're out there doing the off the field stuff, it is a year-round job, and it's something where we're in the mid-season, so to speak, that in between.
Yeah, we're halfway through. Yeah. We're halfway through. We're some summer leagues have started, not all. None of the fall leagues have started. So we got some of the Midwest leagues that are playing football right now. We're kind of halfway through the year, and we've already had some great games. We covered the spring national championships last weekend. Was it 2 weeks ago? I don't know when it was. Maybe 2 weekends ago, but we covered that, and we got a lot of content from that coming out on tonight's show. We're going to speak on a bunch of different topics. We're definitely going to go over the recap of the games, which were some great games, 7 great games. We're going to go over the rankings as a result of those games. And then we're going to bring on our 3A national champions, which head coach Eric Graham. So, I mean, we got a great show. We got a lot of content for everybody. And I think, though, we should get right into it. What we got up first?
All right, let's go over the results real quick. The Sunshine Bowl Spring Nationals. I'll tell you, let me first talk about it. This was awesome. Second time I've been to a Sunshine Bowl Nationals. We talk about the one we had back in February down in Miami. Great times down there. Even better times up here in the first one we've done in the DC area. I'm really happy that we had this opportunity to make this happen. And I felt like everything went well, all things considered, despite, the things that tend to work against you when you try to build things like these, the real life stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, there was definitely some roadblocks that we had to get through. But we got through the roadblocks. I mean, it was a great team of people. We got this up. Let's leave it up for everybody to look at for a minute. But let's just talk about the team of people that we had. Of course, we had you, Joey. Excellent job on the announcing, covering all 7 games, sounding good, looking good, feeling good.
Thank you.
Tom, he did a great job as well. The whole HSG Sports Network, 16,000 views live. And then I think we're up to somewhere close to 50,000 reviews and things like that. And that number's just going to grow a little bit more. Shout out to all our sponsors who came through and did a lot for us. And shout out to Potomac High School and their crew. Like, the team of people that we had was simply amazing. I couldn't say too much more than thank you for everybody who had a hand in this and contributed, and it's wonderful. And then all the teams who came through from far and wide, all the leagues. We had 9 leagues represented. I mean, it was just an amazing time. And I take my hat off to everybody who had a hand in it. So with that being said, Joey, you cover all the games.
Yes.
So I think we got to flip this up a little bit, because I was at the games. I was doing all kinds of stuff. you were paying attention to all these games. So I'm going to flip this up a little bit, and I'm going to ask you questions, and I'm going to let you kind of expound on some of this stuff. How about we flip it up?
All right, here we go.
All right, so this first game, Fayetteville Commandos out of the CFA and the CSFL played the Brooklyn Bengals 50-8. What was your thoughts on that? And tell me about Ryan Bach in that game.
Ryan Bach is a musician out there in the field. He lives up to the standard of his last name, set many centuries ago in one other field. Got to give him credit. Got to give him praise. He just had full control, full command of everything in that game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not even just his offense. He had command of the defense as well. The Brooklyn Bengals had no idea what to do. They were out of place. And I felt like a lot of that comes from what seemed to be, I don't know, a lack of prep. It felt like they kind of pulled up a little before the game, which the Fayetteville Commandos were there bright and early. Like,
well,
they were there before I even got there. I got there around 9 and they were already there, ready to go.
Well, I tell everybody that comes through here is good. Everybody's a good team. So if you take them lightly, you miss a beat. This is what happens. So, yeah.
It's a shame because, like, you don't want to go out that way. That's not a way you want to end your season. But as I was saying on commentary, I feel like the Bengals can take this as a learning lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to give praise to the Fayetteville Commandos. A lot of people came in questioning, including Tom Wilkins next to me, about playing 21 games in a season. Is that too much? They're showing no signs of wear, if that game's any indication. That's scary for every team in their league that they're about to hit. If you count this in the Sunshine Bowl game, I believe is not counted in this.
That's not counted in this.
Okay. That is?
It's not. I don't think it is.
Okay. If it's not counted, then they're looking at a total of 23 games in a span of what is less than 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
which is more in a season grind than what an NFL team would play in a season, to put it in perspective. And this team is showing that perhaps that is the way to go. Get more work in, get as much work as you can, better yourself, play the best when you can. And if they can continue building off of that and keeping that momentum going they have, this is a team to look out for the rest of 2021.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to be entering the CFA for the summer fall season. And they're definitely in the top 3, I think, in that league. And their power protection. So the team's going to be making some noise, and I got a feeling we might see them again in Miami. So, I got a big feeling because now I think they're going to only be doing one season instead of trying to do 2 seasons at one time. So you put all that talent on one field, and you might have other teams might have the same problem that Brooklyn did. Definitely.
I think so. And I think this was a message game. This is one of those games where you make a statement and tell everybody who you are. But we already knew who the Commandos were. Those who watched Sunshine Bowl back in February saw what they did.
Right.
It was a 44-19 win. And you look at a combined score, you got 94-27 between 2 games. You're looking at an average of outscoring your opponent 47-13.
Well, that's just amazing. And that's how you get it done on the national stage. You talk about getting it done. That's efficiency. That's some
Alabama Nick Saban stuff.
Yes, it is. Speaking of Alabama, good segues. Joey, you've done this before.
Can I say?
So the Soldier Force out of Alabama came in and got a surprising win over the Franklin County Tigers. Now, granted, they are the NDFL champions, but no one really knew about this league, and it was perceived as a weaker league. And it was perceived that the AFA had the stronger league. Perceptions can be wrong. And in this case, it was. Tell me about the Force and how were they able to pull this game off?
How were they able to pull this game off?
Mm-hmm.
First of 2 things. Number one, never underestimate a team from Alabama, whether it's the Crimson Tide, whether it's the Auburn Tigers. Even the UAB Blazers were getting somewhere before they had to shut their program down for a few years. That state produces talent, whether people talk about it or not. We may not look at it the same way we look at a Florida or a Texas or a California, but don't be sleeping on that talent, especially when they ran the table down there and came up with 22 strong. I say 22 strong. For anybody that's ever played tackle football, what's the most important thing?
Lineman, the trench work.
Yep, and the depth. You need a lot of depth to go through gauntlets like these. And I got to give it to the Franklin County Tigers. As a team, they really came together for this. They really did. You had a lot of people come down. There was at least over 30, and a lot of guys I knew from over the years playing in the Washington County Flag Football League and playing semi-pro around here. Give credit to those guys. Happy to see them go out there. Big shout out to them, especially my guy
Franklin
Molly.
County was 50. Franklin County was 50, 55 strong.
Franklin County came out ready to go, fired up. They won. This was a big game for them. They were not. You got to realize this is the Independence Bowl. They were defending their Independent Football League championship from last year. That was at stake in this game, the Independence Bowl. You got to think about it. They did not want to lose that. And unfortunately for the Tigers, they don't have the Independent Football League championship anymore. That's Soldier Force. They're the independent champions now.
Yes, they are. Speaking of champions, our next game, 3A National Bowl Championship. The favorites were the 300 Spartans, and the underdogs definitely were the Woodland Tigers. Spartans came out swinging.
I loved this game. This was awesome.
Yeah, the Tigers came out. The Spartans came out swinging and scored the first touchdown, and then it was all downhill from there. Tell me about Chris Rodriguez and how were they able to put off this monumental upset?
It boils down to a few things. Number one, discipline. This Woodland Tigers team has excellent discipline on the field. They did not let anything get to them. Yeah, they committed penalties, but that's the one thing I'll mention. A lot of penalties over the weekend. That was the one thing that I think a lot of teams, got to work on going forward. You got to get the penalties down because they're going to cost you one day. You don't get lucky sometimes with a big lead. If it's a close game, it can really come back to bite you. Ask a few teams this weekend what penalties did to kill a lot of their chances. I just want to point that out real quick because that was just one thing that bothered me, just too many penalties. But the Tigers, they came out there and played a perfect game in regards to going out there and controlling this game physically, mentally, emotionally. The Spartans sideline could not keep it together. Too much arguing amongst each other, too much shouting amongst each other. That's the one thing I always preach to my guys anytime you're playing football is do not fight within yourselves when you get to this point. This is not the time to turn your back on your friend. This is like the equivalent to this is going out to battle. You're not going to start yelling at your guy next to you just because of the fact that he made one mistake. You're supposed to pick your guys up and keep going. And the one thing that bothered me about that Spartan sideline is I think they were so confident they were going to win this game that the minute it all started unraveling, they lost it for the first time. And honestly, if I'm a team down at home watching, I'm looking for anything that the Tigers did to exploit that 13-0 team and utilize it come league play.
Yeah, they basically bullied them on the field, and then their quarterback went to work. Rashad Shackelford. He had command of the offense.
Yeah.
And he really was using his eyes to manipulate those safeties. And he was moving them right out the way with his eyes. And Chris Rodriguez was just catching and running, clear catches with clear lanes. And like I said, Shackelford could have easily had been the MVP of the game, but Chris Rodriguez was definitely deserving. But though that connection was so dynamic and the way they were manipulating the defense, route running, runs after catches, it was everything. And I just think it's one of those situations where, again, when we tell these teams that every team you're gonna play is good, we mean it. We mean it. And you gotta bring your A game. You gotta be on point with your uniforms. Gotta be on point with coming on time. Gotta be on point. Like, your guys have to understand that the next team you're playing is as good, if not better than you. And it's gonna come down to the small things to win these contests. So,
and the one thing about it is that it stands out to me. more than anything, coaching.
Mm.
Especially on the offensive side. Shout out James Battle, Keith Ray and the staff for what they've done all year. That's a warning to a lot of guys in Charm City this weekend. Those guys on the opposite sideline, which I guarantee I'm going to see a lot of those Tiger guys up there this weekend, a good bit of them. That's a warning. Those guys are very smart at football, and they know how to exploit your weaknesses. That's the one thing that you got to be afraid of when you're out there playing any kind of sport, or guys who know the game, no matter what style it is, or whether you pull flags or tackle.
Yeah, James Battle's a veteran of the game.
Well,
yeah, James Battle's a veteran of the game, and he's the head coach of the Tigers. And I'll tell you what, he's been in many battles himself as a semi-pro quarterback, and he's won the big games. And as a coach, he's also winning the big game. So, his play has translated to coaching, which is not always the case. But it is the case in this point. And then shout out to Lamont Gore, the owner. Those guys definitely built this organization from the ground up. And they got a good big win, underdogs, and they got it done, and shout out to them. What we got up next, Joey?
I would have loved to have seen Battle at semi-pro. I've seen him in flag, and he's just excellent. He isn't.
Oh, he was good at semi-pro too. He was definitely
I 100% believe it. Like watching him alone from flag, I know he could be legit in both easily, and he's done excellent. Compliments to him. Big shout out. All right, next game should be the right graphic. I hope so, at least. There we go. Super.
Let's come back to that one.
Oh, you want to go back? Okay. In my head, I did it in the order of the games played. My bad.
Go to the Sunday games.
Let me fix that. My bad, Coach. Chronologically, in my head, I went in order how it happened.
It's all good. Hey, why not? We'll come back to that one. All right. So as the graphics moves out, so the first game on Sunday was a really good game, and these were two organizations that have been itching to get at each other for years, almost a decade. They've been itching to get at each other and never really had the opportunity to. Well, here we go. So the Virginia Storm bested the Virginia Silverbacks 47-21. Tell me about Troy Hilton and how they were able to just dismantle the Silverbacks on offense.
Silverbacks were taken aback very early. They fell into a hole 21-0. And once you fall behind that fast, that early, especially against an interstate team in the Virginia Storm, and what is a battle in state for a major championship, which there's a lot of pride going into those games. You yourself known for 30 years, high school, college ball, semi-pro, when you play an in-state opponent like that with a championship at stake, especially if it's guys that you've played against your whole life and faced, which I guarantee a lot of these guys have crossed paths some way or another. The football world is very small, smaller than we realize sometimes. But this was just, I arrived after the first, but watching on the way there, Silverbacks just could not get off their back, so to speak. It took them a while to get going. Storm came full throttle and never looked back after that. Helton just shredded them. The secondary for the Silverbacks was just not prepared for this one, and it showed.
It definitely did. They came out early. Now, I will say this, though. The Silverbacks never gave up. They never gave up, and they fought all 60 minutes. That was very good to see. Because they were down, like you said, they were down 21-0 early, and they just never said quit. And they were able to put up 21 points of their own to make it respectable, but this game was never close. But, again, I like the fight, have a championship fight, and I can see the Silverbacks coming back and learning this lesson, obviously, and coming back and winning one of these very soon.
I believe it 100%. Like, you take away that first quarter, the final of this game is 26-21, and it's an entirely different story in that perspective. When you look at the three quarters that came after that bad start in the first quarter, and as I said on commentary, I said this about a lot of different teams who trailed all day. Just finish strong. When you're trailing like that, finish strong. Don't do anything to disrupt your team. Don't do anything to cause issues. You guys got there together for a reason. Don't break up over one bad outing or one bad hangout. That's just not.
Yeah.
And they kept it together. And I admire that about teams. I hope other teams who struggle with that this weekend were able to put their differences aside and move on to the next step, because you're not going to grow otherwise if you get mad at everybody every time something goes wrong.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. So let's move on to the next game. The 3A National Bowl Championship. Cecil County Chaos and the Airedale Warriors. Now, here's the thing. Let me say something. My hat's off to the Cecil County Chaos. Let me enlighten people to what happened with this particular game and how they ended up in this game. The Bold City Thunder out of Jacksonville, Florida, were scheduled to play the Airedale Warriors. The Wednesday or Thursday before the games, I can't remember what day exactly it was. We find out that for no particular reason, none given, that they're not coming. This game is in 72 hours, so I think this is Thursday.
Yeah.
On 72 hours notice, these guys strap up, bring everybody but one person from their roster and take this game with no preparation, no real practice on the week. Come out and take this game. Now, granted, they got thumped. They got thumped pretty good. But they fought for the 4 quarters. And this is not a referendum on Airedale. Airedale did what they're supposed to do. But I just want to give a big shout out to the Cecil County Chaos and our appreciation for making this game happen at the last minute. With that said, Joey, tell me about Lance Lewis and the Airedale Warriors and how they got this done in this 3A national. Well, actually 2A national. That's supposed to be 2A. That should be 2A national.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was kind of wondering.
That's typo. It's typo. It's typo.
Yeah, it's all good, bro. It's all
typo.
Good.
It's typo.
I make mistakes, bro. I make mistakes every episode. It's okay. I can't remember even games I covered anymore. All right. Looking back at this one. This was trench war all the way. The Airedale Warriors offensive and defensive line dominated this game. That was the one thing that stood out to me, was they had the best running game out of any team I watched that weekend. They were able to run the ball more consistently than anybody. They were able to push their way through the trenches better than anybody. The defensive line came in with a lot of force and energy. Cecil County, I feel like on short notice, not so much ready up front, which can hurt you when you're coming in. And I can't really state when the last time they played. I know some teams wrapped up in mid-June or early June, but when you have some rust coming in, that can be tough on the O-line, because that chemistry is very important to have. And you can lose some of that over time if you don't play. But that doesn't take away from what the Warriors did, because they came out and played their game very well. Well-disciplined team. Really look forward to watching more of them over the course of the rest of the year. Got to get hats off to them. Ground game, defense, trench war. I like this team. I like this team a lot.
Oh, yeah, I like this team a lot. They played really good football. The quarterback was very dynamic. And I tell you what, when Cecil County tied it up or got that early score, Coach Torrey and crew, they slowed the game down and made it about the trenches. And in doing that and in making it about the trenches, they really took advantage of Cecil County's rust. And again, some of these games, like we said earlier, just comes down to coaching and understanding that Cecil County hasn't played in a while, and slowing that game down and really making it about trench work, taking the air out of the ball, taking the ability to grasp the big play, rapid turnover stuff, just taking that out of the game for Cecil County was a great coaching move by Airedale. And my hat's off to that coaching staff for recognizing that. You can see it happening, right? It's like, okay, going fast. Cecil County gets the score, and they're like, okay, let's slow this thing way down. And again, adjustments are part of the game. And that coaching staff made the necessary adjustments, and they just beat them up, like you said, up front. So my hat's off to them. Lance Lewis, MVP, Airedale Warriors. We'll see these guys again. And I tell you what, next year, they're going to be going for the big game. Speaking of the big game, the 2A AF&T National Championship. I got to say, this was the best game of the weekend.
Yes,
Best
100% agree with that.
game of the weekend.
And honestly,
Jalen Robinson, the MVP. When I say this game needed every single second, this game needed every single second. Tell me about the Fayetteville Ducks and Jalen Robinson and this win.
Fayetteville Ducks never gave up in a game where the Virginia Mutiny, in my opinion, came out with a lot of emotion because, as we all found out days later, that was the end of the mutiny.
Mm-hmm.
This was it. And you could tell just by the way they all came out. They had so many fans on their side in the stands. I think they had the most of any team out there this weekend. I know it's a short trip for a lot of their guys.
Well, that's their home field.
Yeah. Oh, that's their home field. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I haven't kept up on that, but okay. So home field, yeah, that's a lot of emotions, and you got to feel for them in a lot of ways because that was it. That was the final performance. That was the last ride. I know some of them wound up playing together in some form, some way or another, but you could tell they had a lot of intensity and energy. They played at 200 miles per hour the whole time, but the Fayetteville Ducks, despite that, never quit. Like, they just kept taking the hits, and there were times where, like, it seemed like they were giving up. It seemed like it was over. You get that vibe sometimes. I haven't watched other games that weekend of teams being down and out. They couldn't get the ball going. But then late in the game, Jalen Robinson puts on a performance to remember. And it's even after, like, it's even after mistakes made early on by the offense. I believe he had 3 crucial catches at the very end, including the game winner to win that game. He had
a pick too. Didn't he get a pick as well?
I believe he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was an emotional game to watch, and obviously, to me, the best one of the weekend, easily. This was awesome. This was the main event that event needed.
Listen, it had you up, it had you down, had you emotional. It was like a really good movie. Like, this is the stuff that they make Disney movies off of, right? Yeah. They really do. And in Fayetteville, hats off to them. I mean, they beat a team in their home stadium for the national championship, right? And they're missing some guys because of a couple rules that we put in, which were very good rules, and I'm glad we did it. And we got to see the fight and the resolve of the Fayetteville Ducks and just the Fayetteville Ducks. No fillers, no extras, just a good team, well coached by Walter Ford and company, playing 60 minutes of football. I love 60 minutes of football. There's nothing better than 60 minutes of football. And it comes down to every play. Every play was important. And hats off to both teams. Hats off to the Virginia Mutiny coach, Jason Rock, owner Rod Anderson. Those guys, you know, they have been building something special. I feel like if COVID didn't cut their season short last year, they probably would have won the championship last year. They put a special year on this year. And like I said, it's just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful way to end the festivities. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the big game. The 3A AFNT National Championship. Bring that graphic up for me, Joe.
There we go. Where we at?
Yeah, right there. That's it. That's the graphic.
You want that? All right.
I want that one right there. We got it. So in the background there, that tall guy, that tall coach, his name is Eric Graham, and he's our special guest today. Coach E.
What's up?
What's happening, champ?
Oh, man. Ain't nothing. Just chilling, trying to figure it out, man.
Oh, well, you figured it out a couple weeks ago. Back-to-back 3A Spring National Champs. Back-to-back. That is so hard to do. Takes a lot of luck, takes a lot of skill, takes a lot of everything. Congratulations. What does it mean to you? How do you feel about it?
You know, I'm one to always second guess how good we are. And can't lie, watching the tape on Leander was extremely nervous. I said to you before the game, why the hell would we have to get this group? Why you got to match this up against these guys, right? But everybody that's in that picture put in the work. to try to make sure we were prepared and our players have something to prove. I mean, also, we always tend to thank Maurice Patterson of the Chiefs down there in South Carolina for beating us earlier this year, to waking us up and making sure that we didn't take games for granted and everybody was just going to hand games to us. So that basically opened our eyes. We were woke then, if you want to say that. And we got back on the grind and making sure we were preparing the right way and were able to pull it out against a really good team. And, you know, they have a very solid team in Leander. And the coaches and everything, we had a chance to talk. And it's all respect towards them. There wasn't a lot of trash talk and no unnecessary things said to one another. So I really respect them for that as well. But I will not be surprised to see them right back in that same situation next year.
Definitely. Two very good organizations. You guys really coached that game really well. At one point, it was 28-21. I thought the tide was turning. And you and your staff took the air out of the ball. Explain to me that adjustment and what went into that.
So, I mean, originally our game plan was to survive the storm, because we were going to see a passing game that we really hadn't seen. It was really just surviving the storm. And really, I felt, and I'm not trying to talk crap or nothing like that, but I really felt that they hadn't played anybody of our physicality yet. So on the offensive side and defensive side of the ball. So then when we kind of was like, you know what, we're going to run the ball. And I normally have a personal goal of mine, which is to try to run 7 minutes off a clock. And it's kind of like, leave me alone. Don't say nothing to me. Let me figure this out type of deal. A couple of those penalties threw my rhythm off. But, I mean, ultimately, our guys wanted it and didn't want to take no for an answer. So really wasn't, I don't want to take too much credit to coaching staff. Our guys actually really did some things that they've been asked to do for the first time this year. My tight ends played more than I've ever played them before. And our running backs as a committee really put up an argument why they're the best group in North Carolina as far as running backs.
So speaking of running back, good segue. Talk to me about Austin, your MVP of the game and his performance.
You know, Jacquees is such a good person, and all it takes is someone to come at him in the wrong way. And when he turns up to me and says, "Hey, coach, don't take me out as long as you can. Leave me in there as best I can. I got something for you today. This one's for you," type of deal. And I appreciate stuff like that. Now, granted, I didn't keep him in there the whole time, but the guy is he's electrifying. You give him the ball in a good situation, and he'll make something happen. You give it to him in a bad situation, he'll erase the mistakes and make something happen. And I don't know what it is. Everybody should know the guy by now, but and the thing is, we try to play the game to where we got to keep you honest. We'll put him in the game as a decoy. We'll put him in the game and we'll throw him the ball. We'll hand him the ball, give him some things that, you know, when he plays for other teams, they might not necessarily use him a certain way. We like to use him in every way. So in that game, I mean, he caught a pass, ran a touchdown, did a special teams, and even lined up at quarterback before. You know what I mean? So a lot of people say, oh, you can't win without a Jacquees Austin. No. We still have our strategies, how to use Jacquees Austin. So that way we maximize his ability, but at the same time, we got to keep you honest so it allows our other guys to shine too.
Right.
So it's not a one-man team, but the kid is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. You guys definitely put the ball in his hands in great situations all day Saturday. I think we noted that on the broadcast. It was a great, and again, you're not giving yourself enough credit, but that's game planning, one-on-one, find the way to get your better players the ball in the best situation. So give yourself the credit, give your coaching staff that credit, because like you said, not every coach is willing to do that. So, sometimes it's not about how smart we are. Sometimes it's just getting out of our own way. And you guys were able to do that. And so, yeah, give yourself enough credit. Hey, Joey, let's get the next graphic up. So, hold on, Joey, as he gets the graphic up.
Graphic specifically?
The score.
Okay. Oh, that went by fast. Okay. Editing error. Filmora is great sometimes, but other times it just does things really weirdly. There we go.
There we go. So, again, this was the big game. So, 41-21. So you guys win this game. You're back-to-back 3A AF&T Spring National Champions. What is the next move for the North Carolina Rebels and Eric Graham?
Well, so right now we're actually trying to make a decision if we're going to play the Dallas Prime in like an exhibition game. I have some friends that play for that team that we played on the flag football circuit for 7-8 years together, and they play for that team. So for you guys to bring out that final list and put us above there, obviously I had to throw my jabs at the guys that play for the Dallas Prime. And we had a conversation like, why didn't you guys make the trip? Because, they tend to make the statement to say that we played the JV team versus the varsity team out of Texas.
Okay.
But, if they're the JV team had the fortitude to make that trip across the state, the country. So you got to respect that. So in my eyes, Dallas Prime are the JV team because JV team don't travel.
Yay.
But, you understand what I'm saying? So
Yes,
the varsity team made that trip to DC, and you got to respect Coach Mark all day long for that. And but so right now we're looking at that, and literally once I get off this chat, I'm gonna jump on and start looking at my roster. We've made some shaves, some cuts where we needed to make them. We've had some conversations of adding where we need to. Guys that are retiring, how do we fill that spot? We're already onto our fundraising and things of that nature. But I would say the next thing really big up for us is to try to get the coaches together to take us a trip somewhere to celebrate our successes and design another ring. You know what I mean? That's literally what we're on right now.
Speaking of designing another ring, Southern Recognition, great company. You turned us on to them. Great sponsor for Sunshine Bowl, DMV Legends, North Carolina Rebels. If you guys need rings, Southern Recognition, look our guys up, man.
Right, I don't know if you can see it, but there go one right there.
Yeah, it is. I don't have mine on, but that's a great.
You didn't need to because mine look better than yours, but it's all good.
Yeah, my man Rob Cass, great family, great company, neat ring, Southern Recognition. Every once in a while, Joe, we got to pay some bills. But so
all the time, 24/7.
So great season. Looking forward to seeing what you got coming up. I'm gonna ask you a tough question now. It's been all nice and jovial until now. I'm gonna ask one tough question. Can I get one?
You can get one. I don't know what type of answer you're gonna get, but go ahead.
I'll give you one tough question. CSFL. Okay. You obviously, and no disrespect to any team in that league, because I love all the guys. I love what you guys are trying to do. But you're too good for that league. I feel like during the season, you guys definitely need tougher competition week in and week out. Are you going to improve the CSFL? Are you going to merge it? What are you guys going to do to put some a little bit more behind what you guys are capable of?
The hard part is when we put that together, you had some teams that have been at the top of the state of North Carolina, but for some reason this past year, things didn't line up for those guys, and they weren't as good as they've been in the past. They were unable to finish the season. So it's unforeseen circumstances. And as of right now, I am literally just trying to get through the celebration phase of what we just accomplished and to try to line ourselves up for future successes. But I can't predict who we're going to play. I mean, a lot of the teams that they say are the better teams play in the summer, fall type time of the year. Well, I'm very active in my university, so the time isn't there for me. My field rental is easier in the spring than it is the fall. I like to travel to go to NFL games. I got friends that coach in the NFL, friends that play.
Right.
And I do the radio show for East Carolina University. So Saturdays in the spring and fall, in the summer and the fall I can't do it. So it's just, you'll have the teams that'll say, oh, you're not better than us, or we can beat you, or recently how the APDFL said something about we wouldn't be no better than 5-5 in their league. And
I saw that. I saw that.
Well, where was this talk last year when we won? Like the previous year? Say it then. And then maybe we could have had a whole year to work that out. But now you want to say it now, but you're falling on deaf ears right now. Like, we are what we are. You guys had the same opportunity to send that email to Miss Mercedes to apply for the Sunshine Bowl, and you chose not to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, you weren't prepared to travel. So if you're not able to make that trip to DC from Georgia or from wherever you at, and teams from Texas, 2 of them made that trip, don't talk to us because you're not on our level. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you got to travel and you got to win. And then when you do happen to slip up and lose, you got to figure out a win again. And you still have to travel. And, and to give my guys the most credit in the world, we traveled extremely well to DC, and we traveled extremely well the previous year to Florida. And we did what we were supposed to do. So don't come running mouths and talking trash and all of that. And in all actuality, you know my name. Look me up on Facebook, send me a message, I will respond. But don't do it right after we finish our season. You're falling on deaf ears. Stop it. And I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful, but it's just like, allow us to enjoy what we're doing. Allow us to, celebrating the fruits of our labor.
I agree with you 100%. I went through the same thing last year with the Legends. We beat who we needed to beat. And then I think it was February 15th, 14th was the game. And then February 15th, we got a whole bunch of people talking about we want to play you. Hey, it's too late. We got to wait till the next go around. When Nationals ends, that's the end of the season, folks.
Done deal. It's about to go start your new thing. And you can pull up everybody's schedule and see when they have off weeks and stuff like that, and offer that challenge then. I'm going to sit here and tell you, we had our off weeks, and then we had a team forfeit, and we looked at it trying to fill it. I know I asked every bit of 12 teams that they would play. I got 0 responses. So we even posted that we were looking for a game. No answers.
Right.
I'm not sitting here saying that we're the best team in the world, because we're not. But we're open and willing to play anybody as long as the time is right. Don't try to make the time right just for you.
I gotta make a correction. You are the best team in the spring in 2021. So you didn't give yourself enough credit right there, Coach. I'm looking at it right here on the screen.
Well, I appreciate that. I just got to see that team up there. What they call it, the DMV. What is it? Legends.
Them?
I think that's what they call them. We got to see them
jokers?
one day.
Those jokers? Oh man, those jokers. Hey, hey, yeah. We're not even in your rice bowl. We focus on summer fall.
Yeah, I know, and it's never gonna happen. I'm not gonna play somebody at the beginning of their season, and nobody's gonna play us at the end of ours. And I respect that. It makes no sense, so it won't happen. You'll get the guys, you'll get the Lee Corsos and the Kirk Herbstreits of Facebook
and
making their opinions and all of that, and making ranking.
You muted yourself, E.
And we're not necessarily buying into that, feeding into that. We have some solid guys. And, and one thing about us, we have a lot of guys whose names are under the radar. Yeah. And I don't want to have the most popular guys all the time. You can't have a team compiled of that, because a lot of times popular egos want the ball, or they want to shine. They want to be on the flyer. They don't want to pay the fee. And we don't got time for that. So we're going to keep doing what we do. And as the schedules come out and they lay themselves out and seasons and leagues come up, we'll see what we need to do is best for our team at that moment. And we'll move forward from there.
Indeed. Well, I appreciate you, Coach. Congratulations for the second time. I'm quite sure you're going to be looking to defend and win it 3 times in a row, because I know how you are. Once you go grab on to something, you don't want to let it go. So
right. I've been trying to retire for 4 years. I can't seem to do it because we're getting lucky enough to win.
Well, again, you either got to let somebody win, or you're going to have to keep coming back. So we'll see you in 2022, and we'll see how that shakes out. I appreciate you, Coach.
Well, I greatly appreciate you guys. You guys put on a good show down there. So we appreciate you, and appreciate you guys for getting teams from way on the other side of the state to come and play. And all those other teams, I'm just going to say this, that are in the area that were on that list, who had the same opportunity to apply for a national championship game, but you chose not to. Be quiet until next year.
Yes, sir.
Facts. Absolute facts.
All right, Coach. Appreciate it.
Easy. All right.
Yes, sir. Well, Joey, that was a pretty doggone good interview, wasn't it?
That was awesome.
Yeah. Coach Eric Graham of the North Carolina Rebels, back to back. back to back. That's impressive. It's hard to do, and it's rarely seen. So he did it this year. So we're gonna see what happens with 2021 with the fall, and see who's able to move forward with that. So speaking of moving forward, so we got some rankings. We put out 2A and 3A on Sunshine Bowl earlier this week, the last 2 days. We have a surprise for everybody. We have a combined ranking, and we'll show that in a minute. We're just gonna peruse. Okay. You putting up folks again?
Okay. You want to wait a minute? Okay.
No. Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. Sorry, I always try to be on point.
Yeah, you're on point. You're actually on point.
We go.
There you go. So
we're gonna start 2A first. Work our way up from like bottom to top.
All right. So we got the 2A. Of course, let's look at this legend here. We got C. C means you won your league championship. N means you run a national bowl game or a national championship. Obviously, the number 1 team won the national championship. And then the 2 and 3 team actually won national bowl games, tier 2 games. Soldier Force with the B won the bowl game. And Fayetteville Commandos, of course, won a bowl game. So that's how you read the legend. So we know who the champions are on this list. We know who won the nationals, so forth and so on. Of course, again, Fayetteville Ducks, who played the best game of the Sunshine Bowl, most exciting game with the Virginia Mutiny, who came in at number 5. Virginia Storm, Airedale Warriors. One team we really wanted to see was the Sumter Sharks. They were supposed to come, they didn't come. It's a lot of things that went on with that. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to see them in a bowl game in Miami against the Long Island Eagles, who were not able to make it. So hopefully that game, we can set that game up and see those 2 teams go at it. And then big shout out to the Fayetteville Commandos. We shot them out earlier. 22 games in one season. That is I can't even describe how historic that is. Yeah, they didn't win a championship, but I mean, they played in one championship. I think they lost in the conference finals in the other. So what I'm trying to tell you is this team is good. And honestly, even though they're on the 2A side, they should be on the 3A side. So hopefully some of these really good 2A teams bump up the 3A next year and give us a show over there and see how they fare. But this is your 2A. I rounded it out with the Franklin County Tigers and the Brooklyn Bengals. Your Predators are on there. And shout out to the Carolina Red Devils, who won the ACFA championship. Let's go to the next one.
All right.
All right. So it's our 3A top 25. We just kind of talked about the North Carolina Rebels. Let's talk about it. They were in a 2A league, but they did win their league championship. Then they played a champion versus champion game, won that, and they won the national. So that's why we moved them over to 3A. Because again, they were the 3A defending title national champions. We moved them back over to 3A. They beat the Leander Wolfpack, a very good 13-0 team at the time. Dallas Prime, 14-0, great football team. We loved Dallas Prime throughout the season. They just didn't apply. So, and we say this every time, you got to play to stay. You got to play to stay. You can't be number 1 in the country and the nation if you don't play any national games. You can't say I'm the national champion if you just never did it, and I believe in that. And a lot of folks do believe in that. You got to leave the state. You got to leave your comfort zone. Can you win on the road? Can you, get across the country? Can you get it's finances, it's commitment.
I think a lot of teams at Sunshine Bowl learned that lesson the hard way.
Mm-hmm. It's different when you don't have your crowd behind you, when you don't have to only go 20 minutes outside your house, when you actually really got to prepare for football games. Big shout out to the DC Woodland Tigers, 12-3 overall. Of course, they won a championship in the ECFA over a very, very, very good Virginia Cyclones team who was favored to win it. So shout out to them winning theirs. South Florida Gladiators. Man, we had this team at Sunshine Bowl in 2020. Yeah, the Miami 2020 Sunshine Bowl, we had them. We were really hoping they came back for this one. They weren't able to make the trip, which is unfortunate. But hopefully, they won 3 championships in a row. So hopefully after this 4th one, maybe they come on even years, 2 and 4. Hopefully if they win another one this year, we can get them up and see what they can do. It's a lot of other good teams and good leagues on this list. Big shout out to the APDFL. They play a tough schedule where the Crescent City Kings, who's here at number 12, end up actually winning the championship. That was a feat. They went on a run, and I think Commissioner Bernard Hunt told me they rode with 29 guys. That's their roster. They don't add, they don't subtract. That's their 29, and and they beat a very good Alabama Blackhawks team, if I'm not mistaken. So football's meant to be played, and they got hot at the right time. A couple other really good teams on this list: North Texas Stampede, who played a very good game against Leander in their championship, ended up losing by 1. Mississippi Dynasty, who was also a very good championship team, who didn't pull it out this year. So there's a lot of very good teams on the 3A side. I will say this: I would like to see more 3A teams come to Sunshine Bowl. Now, we usually have a lot of them in Miami, but for the spring, we didn't have as many as we thought we would get. We had more participation from the 2A side. So hopefully moving on in the future spring national championships, we'll have more 3A team participation. Let me shout out, and this is a mistake on us, the Oklahoma Bears from the 4-State League. We didn't have them ranked throughout the season because, honestly, we actually thought they were a summer fall league, and it was an issue of COVID. They had switched some stuff around, so hopefully next year we can track them all the way through and maybe get teams like the Oklahoma Bears from their league up the Sunshine Bowl as well. So we're going to do better each and every year. League participation is so important. Commissioner participation is so important. Scores in is so important because, we have a very good staff, but a very small staff. So, don't charge it to our brain. Don't charge it to our hearts, charge it to our brains. We just can't track everything without your help. But this is the 3A top 25. We think it's a good list. I think it's a strong list, and it's the final list. So, agree with it or not, this is where we're at in spring 2021, and we'll see what happens in 2022. Now, here's the treat. The board wanted to see what it looked like if we combined the 2A and the 3A list. So we haven't put this out officially, but we're going to put it out. Like I said, for everyone, go by the 2A, go by the 3A. Those are the ones you officially go by. But this one is just for fun. Let's see if we were just to mesh everybody together, what it would look like. So the next one. Here we go. So this is the combined list. All right, again, this is just for fun. Don't get your proverbial panties in a bunch. You're lowered or higher or not where you think it should be. Again, this is just a combined list to show what it would look like if everybody was on the same wavelength based on what we feel, schedule. It's a little math involved, but this is where we're at. This is combined list. Of course, North Carolina Rebels remain at number 1, Dallas, Leander, and then you get your first 2A teams in there, the Fayetteville Ducks, Iredell. And so just take a look at this list, see what you think about it. Again, this one is just for fun. Don't get your panties in the bunch. We don't want to hit any hate mail off of this one. This is just for fun to show everybody what it could possibly look like if everybody was 3A or everybody was 2As, everybody was doing the same things. What do you think about these lists so far? What do you think about these lists in 2021, Joey?
My impression so far, for the most part, is I like the idea of these combined rankings because you don't really know how good a team is till they match up across from someone else on the field. You look at how diverse and how much talent there is out there, depending on where you go. It's the sport of semi-pro tackle football. There's talent so far spread out across the country of such a large age group. that you ultimately end up with times where teams don't usually get a chance to play teams that are on a higher level, or
Right.
maybe teams on a higher level are doing it because they succeeded for the longest time playing some of the best, but they can be tested any moment. Football has always been that game. It's of matchups. It's who can come best prepared. It's battle. It's you got to go through warfare for 60 minutes on the field, and only the strongest survive in the end when it comes to the sport. And looking at the combined rankings, I like what I see. Very suitable rankings. A lot of strong teams here. Man, it would be cool to see an 18 playoff out of this. 12.
Oh my goodness.
My God, could you imagine?
College style, you take these top. Shoot, if you take the top 10, I mean, Sumter is a hell of a team, and you got the Ducks. I mean, top 12, like unconquered, and like, listen, how about just play off the whole 25? Do it NCAA basketball style.
I like it.
Because I like this list. It's funny. I usually on the rankings, there's always a team in, you be like, oh my God, I don't know why we got those guys on there. How did it work out for them? Just because it's just everybody has their preference. This is one of those lists where I like everybody on here. And my favorite team on here, and believe it or not, is the Soldier Force. I just love that team. I love that team. Those guys, like I said, the coaches didn't come, but those guys came with 26 strong.
They had 20. I counted 22 at one point.
Yeah, a couple guys. Yeah, because they got some injuries. A couple guys fell down.
They got pretty low. Like,
yeah,
I would have liked to see how this team plays with their full force, because
with all 55 guys they have on their roster. Yeah, because I tell you what, that's my favorite team on the list. And like I said, there's a lot of good teams on this. My favorite is the Soldier Force. I just love everything about them. I love their resolve. I love their smart football players, very respectable young men that came out to play ball, was not rattled. And my favorite team on here is Soldier Force. So I just want everybody to know.
Soldier Force is a potential top 10 team by the end of this year if they keep up that momentum they got. They definitely have
absolutely, because they're one of those teams where now that they've got a taste of what it's like, they won a bowl game, they're going to want more.
Yeah.
And they're going to do what they got to do. Their owner, McKenzie, I think Rob McKenzie is his name. He's going to want more. He doesn't settle. So, yeah, I like them. So, and like I said, I like every team on here. Really, I really do. A lot of great coaches, some friends coaching some of these teams on this list. I think the Virginia Cyclones are going to be higher on this list next year. I think, they kind of came out slack. They lost some games at the end they shouldn't have lost. And I think they're going to come out next spring and on every cylinder that it is that they can hit on. And I think they're going to be higher next year, even championship maybe caliber. The Oklahoma Bears, they got the potential to be higher on this combined list. Again, just for fun, people, calm down. But it just, to show you, we wanted to show people where we think as a committee, American Football News Today's committee, if we were to combine them all, this is where we think, people rank throughout the country. And 2A, 3A, 1A, 7A, whatever. And, and this is one of those lists. This is a pride list, not an official list. See where you at. So I think we're done, Joey.
Are we?
I think we're done. I got one more thing, but I think we're done with this piece.
All right.
So my rant for the day, good people. So we had the games out in DC at Potomac High School. There's an expectation of excellence by every team that shows up to nationals. And we had 13 very well dressed, prepared, attitude teams ready to play football. And then we had one team that thought it was something different. We here at Sunshine Bowl can't control your young men. We can't control your leagues. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to put on the best situation so you can prove how well you play this game of football. not prove how well you can bully somebody, not prove how well you can get over on the rules, how well you play football. And if you come to Sunshine Bowl or any other national bowl event, not just Sunshine Bowl, because there's 2 other bodies that you can go to. Even though we are not linked, we do have conversations, and we do believe in a couple key things. 1, you come to play football. 2, we're not tolerating any fighting or unprofessional behavior. And 3, if you get thrown out of one, you get thrown out of all of us. We had a team that came that was not professional. Now, here's the thing. We handled it. We got through it. Not much here, rah, whatever the case may be. But the problem is this. We have an expectation by that league, expectation by those commissioners, expectation by those coaches and players to act professional at all times and play the game of football. And for that, if you do not conduct yourself in that professional manner, we do not want to deal with you. We will not deal with you or your league. And you will be removed from our standings, from our rankings, from our existence. Because obviously, you're not of quality to be ranked on a national level. Now, is that right to some people? Maybe, maybe not. But this is not something that you have to do. This is something that you earn and something that is a privilege. This game is a privilege. And the moment you forget that and try to make it about something else besides football on a national level where everybody can see you showing that unprofessional behavior, it will not be tolerated. Our rant for today is be professional. Play this game. Enjoy this game. Your time on the field is fleeting. You don't have long to play. 15, 20 years max for most people. Most people live to their 60s, 70s. So that time is very minute. So don't come to nationals or any other field thinking it's about anything besides football. Your pads talk. Your hands catch. Your feet run. If you want to do anything else with your hands, your feet, or wherever, there's other sports for you. So that being said, we only expect the best, and we will not tolerate anything else. So that's my rant for today, Joey. Pride and professionalism. Come to any field with that. Leave with that. That's it, Joey. Good show today, but that had to be said because a lot of folks are asking why this team got removed or that team, because we cannot tolerate anything less than the best here at Sunshine.
I agree. And for the best we give out, we deserve the best in return.
Mm-hmm. Again, congratulations to all the winners. Congratulations to all the folks who even made it. It's an opportunity. And I promise you, if you work hard, you'll get another one. Trust me, my teams have come to Sunshine Bowl and we won. And we've come to Sunshine Bowl and we lost. But it's perspective. We're blessed and privileged enough to be there. So congratulations to all. And show next week?
Yes, sir.
All right. And if you have a problem with anything I just said or what Joey just said, you can meet us at the 50.
And I'll always keep that